The greatest mistake we make in life is allowing the wounds of our past to define our identity. We tend to take the labels placed upon us by others, the failures we've encountered, or the pain we've endured, and we wear them as if they were permanent parts of who we are. But hear me clearly today, your damage does not define you. Every person has faced some form of damage. For some, it's emotional words spoken in anger, rejection, betrayal, or abandonment. For others, it's physical, financial, or circumstantial events beyond their control that seem to write a narrative of brokenness. Yet, the most dangerous aspect of damage is not the pain itself, but the belief it creates in your mind. It whispers lies that you are unworthy, inadequate, or incapable. It convinces you that because you have been hurt, you are less valuable. But let me tell you something. Damage is not your identity. What happened to you is not the definition of who you are. Damage is an event, identity is a state of being. The two are not the same. Consider this: when a vase is cracked or chipped, its value isn't in the damage, it's in the craftsmanship, in the hands that formed it. Your value doesn't diminish because of what you've been through. The one who created you knows your worth, and no amount of damage can erase that. The danger lies in embracing damage as permanent. Too many people allow their past wounds to dictate their future choices. They make decisions based on fear rather than faith, on survival rather than thriving. They build walls to protect themselves from further harm, but those same walls often block them from opportunities to grow, to love, and to achieve greatness. What's even more troubling is how society reinforces this lie. The world is quick to label people by their failures: the divorced, the bankrupt, the unemployed, the broken. These labels stick not because they are true, but because we choose to accept them. We begin to believe that our damage is our story. We stop dreaming, stop striving, and stop living fully because we think this is all I am now. But I urge you to look at damage from a new perspective. Damage is evidence of experience, not evidence of failure. Damage shows that you have lived, that you have encountered resistance, and that you have endured. It is proof of resilience, not ruin. The truth is, many of the most remarkable people in history were shaped by damage. Leaders, visionaries, and pioneers have often come from places of deep pain. They didn't let their scars define them, they used their scars to guide them. They understood that damage is a chapter, not the whole book. Take a moment to reflect on the areas of your life where you have allowed damage to define you. Is it in your relationships, your career, your self-image? Recognize that those cracks and bruises are not your identity. They are merely part of the journey, tools to refine you, not confines to restrict you. When a tree is struck by lightning, it doesn't stop growing. It adapts. Its branches may grow differently, its bark may scar, but it continues to stretch toward the sky, fulfilling its purpose. You are no different. You are not defined by the strike, the wound, or the damage. You are defined by the potential that still resides within you, waiting to be unleashed. The process of healing begins when you separate what happened to you from who you are. Damage can mark you, but it cannot claim you unless you allow it. Your true identity is not in the pain, but in the purpose beyond it. Pain is a universal experience. No one escapes it, yet everyone experiences it differently. Some endure physical pain, others emotional, mental, or spiritual anguish. Pain often feels like a thief, robbing us of joy, peace, and certainty. But what if I told you that pain is not the end? What if, instead of being the barrier we believe it to be, pain is actually a portal, a doorway leading us to a greater understanding of who we are and why we exist? Pain, as uncomfortable as it is, has a unique way of commanding our attention. It interrupts the flow of life, forcing us to pause and examine what truly matters. When you're in pain, distractions lose their power, and you are drawn into a moment of profound clarity. Pain strips away the unnecessary and brings into focus what is essential. It's as though life uses pain as a way to realign us with purpose. Consider this: a seed cannot grow into a tree without being buried in the soil. In that darkness, it must crack open. That breaking process is painful, but it is necessary for growth. Without it, the seed would remain a seed, never realizing its potential. Pain is often the soil where the seeds of purpose are planted. We often ask, why me in moments of suffering? It's a natural question. But the real question is, what is this pain teaching me? Where is it leading me? Pain is not meaningless. It is a teacher, a guide, and a catalyst. Pain is often the birthplace of transformation. When you allow yourself to lean into the discomfort instead of running from it, you discover things about yourself you never knew existed. You find strength, resilience, and clarity that were hidden beneath the surface. Think of the people who have made the greatest impact in this world. Their lives are often marked by profound pain. Their purpose was not born in comfort, but in struggle. The activist who fights for justice was once a victim of injustice. The healer who restores others has likely walked through the fire of their own suffering. The innovator who solves problems often understands them intimately through personal experience. Pain prepares us to fulfill the very purpose we were created for. The world teaches us to avoid pain at all costs, to numb it, suppress it, or escape from it. But avoidance only delays the process. Pain that is ignored doesn't disappear, it festers, growing stronger and louder until we face it. Healing begins when we stop resisting pain and start asking what it is trying to reveal. Pain also breaks our pride. It reminds us of our humanity, of our limitations, and of our need for something greater than ourselves. In the depths of pain, we often discover our greatest source of strength, not in ourselves, but in our connection to the divine, to others, and to our calling. Pain humbles us, and in that humility we find clarity. Pain challenges us to grow. It stretches us beyond our comfort zones and expands our capacity for compassion and empathy. When you've been through pain, you can no longer look at the world the same way. You see others differently. You understand their struggles because you've walked through your own. That shared understanding is often the bridge to your purpose. There is a refining power in pain. Just as gold is purified in the fire, so too are we refined through trials. The fire doesn't destroy the gold, it removes the impurities. In the same way, pain doesn't destroy us. It burns away the distractions, the doubts, and the fears that hold us back. What emerges is a clearer, stronger version of ourselves, ready to step into the purpose for which we were created. Pain also teaches us gratitude. When you walk through the valley, you learn to appreciate the mountaintop. The little things that once went unnoticed suddenly become treasures. Gratitude shifts our perspective, allowing us to see the beauty in life even amidst the scars of pain. But the most profound truth about pain is this: it is not permanent. Pain is a season, not a lifetime. It is a passage, not a destination. And within that passage lies the opportunity to uncover your purpose, to redefine your journey, and to embrace the fullness of who you were always meant to be. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful forces in the human experience, yet it is often misunderstood and underutilized. When we think of forgiveness, we tend to view it through the lens of a favor we extend to others, something we do because we are supposed to or because it benefits the other person. But the truth is that forgiveness is not about the one who wronged you, it's about you. Forgiveness is freedom for your own soul. The weight of unforgiveness is a burden no one was meant to carry. We live in a world full of hurt, betrayals, misunderstandings, broken promises, and disappointments. And if we are not careful, we allow these offenses to build up inside us, creating emotional prisons that keep us locked in a state of anger, resentment, and pain. Unforgiveness holds you captive, preventing you from moving forward, from living fully experiencing peace. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack full of stones. Each stone represents a hurt, a betrayal, an offense. At first, the weight is manageable, but as the backpack fills, it becomes unbearable. You are weighed down by the past, by the people who have hurt you, by the memories that linger like a shadow. This is the reality of unforgiveness. It is a weight that drags you down, keeping you from walking freely, from moving in the direction of your dreams. But forgiveness is the key to unlocking that burden. When you forgive, you are not excusing the wrong done to you, you are releasing yourself from the emotional chains that bind you to it. Forgiveness does not mean you forget what happened or that the pain didn't matter. It simply means you are choosing to stop allowing that pain to control your future. Forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for your own healing. It's the moment you decide that you will not allow someone else's actions to determine the quality of your life. Unforgiveness keeps you tethered to a moment in time, but forgiveness allows you to break free and step into your future. Many times we are reluctant to forgive because we feel that doing so somehow diminishes the hurt we've experienced. We believe that forgiving means we are letting the other person off the hook, that we are saying their actions were okay. But this is not the case. Forgiveness is not about making the offender right, it is about making you free. It's about choosing peace over pain, freedom over bitterness, joy over sorrow. The absence of forgiveness does not punish the one who hurt you, it punishes you. When we hold on to anger and resentment, we poison our own hearts. The more we harbor unforgiveness, the more it affects our mental, emotional, and even physical health. Studies show that those who hold on to grudges suffer from higher levels of stress, anxiety, and even chronic illness. Unforgiveness tightens the grip of bitterness, creating an internal environment that is toxic to your soul. When you forgive, you release that toxicity. You let go of the weight that has been holding you back. You open the door to healing and peace. Forgiveness doesn't mean you erase the past. It means you stop letting the past control you. It means you acknowledge that the hurt was real, but that you will no longer allow it to define who you are or dictate how you live. Forgiveness also gives you the freedom to love again. Unforgiven hurt builds walls around your heart, making it difficult to trust, to care, to open yourself to others. When you forgive, you dismantle those walls and create space for compassion, understanding, and connection. You make room for new experiences and relationships that will help you grow and move forward. But what if the person who hurt you never asks for forgiveness? What if they never acknowledge the pain they caused? This is where the true power of forgiveness lies. Forgiveness is not dependent on the actions or repentance of the other person. It's not about waiting for them to make it right. Forgiveness is about you taking control of your emotional well-being, no matter what the other person does. When you forgive, you are freeing yourself from the need for closure from someone else. You are choosing to let go of the past and take charge of your future. Forgiveness is also an act of humility. It requires us to step outside our own ego, our desire to be right, and our need for justice. It means choosing mercy over judgment, understanding over condemnation. Forgiveness does not mean that you are weak or passive. It takes great strength to forgive. It takes strength to release the anger, to give up the right to hold a grudge, to let go of the desire for revenge. It takes strength to acknowledge the pain, yet choose to rise above it. In a world that often encourages us to hold on to grudges, to seek retribution, to demand justice, forgiveness is radical. It goes against the grain of our natural instincts, but it is the pathway to peace. It is the key to unlocking your future, to living with a heart free from bitterness and resentment. Forgiveness is not a one-time decision, it is a daily practice. There will be moments when the pain resurfaces, when the memories come flooding back, when you feel the temptation to hold on to the hurt once again. But each time you choose forgiveness, you are choosing freedom. You are choosing to no longer be defined by the wrongs done to you. You are choosing peace over pain, release over resentment, joy over sorrow. Forgiveness, ultimately, is the act of saying, I refuse to let the actions of another keep me from living in the fullness of who I am meant to be. It is the choice to walk in freedom no matter the past. Trauma is an unwelcome visitor. It barges into our lives, leaving destruction, confusion, and pain in its wake. Whether it comes in the form of loss, betrayal, failure, or any other deeply wounding experience, trauma leaves a mark. It changes us. And yet, within the very heart of that pain, hidden beneath the layers of hurt and brokenness, there is often a treasure waiting to be discovered. At first glance, this idea seems counterintuitive. Trauma feels like the opposite of treasure. It feels like something to escape from, to forget, to bury. But the reality is that within every trial, there is an opportunity to uncover something valuable, something that can shape, strengthen, and elevate you in ways you never imagined. The key is not to run from the trauma, but to face it, process it, and extract the lessons it holds. When we experience trauma, our first instinct is often to ask, why did this happen to me? It's a natural and valid question, one that stems from our need to make sense of the pain. But why is a good starting point? It is not the question that will lead to transformation. The better question is, what can I learn from this? What is this moment trying to teach me? Trauma, as devastating as it is, often reveals truths about ourselves and the world that we would never have discovered otherwise. It forces us to confront our vulnerabilities, to question our assumptions, and to reevaluate our priorities. In the process, it has the potential to unearth hidden strengths and capacities we didn't know we had. Think about gold and diamonds. Both are formed under immense pressure. Gold is refined through fire, and diamonds are created in the crushing depths of the earth. Without the pressure, without the heat, they would remain ordinary materials, never becoming the treasures they were meant to be. In the same way, trauma can act as the fire or the pressure that transforms us, that brings out the qualities within us that are most valuable. One of the treasures found in trauma is resilience. When life knocks you down and you choose to get back up, you discover a strength you didn't know you had. Trauma has a way of showing you what you're truly capable of enduring. It reveals the depth of your courage, your determination, and your capacity to heal. Each time you rise after a setback, you become stronger, more equipped to face whatever comes next. Another treasure is empathy. When you've walked through the valley of pain, you develop a greater ability to understand and connect with others who are suffering. Trauma softens the heart. making you more compassionate, more aware of the struggles of those around you. This empathy can become a source of purpose, as it often leads people to use their experiences to help others navigate similar challenges. Trauma also has a way of clarifying what truly matters. It strips away the superficial, the distractions, the things we thought were important but ultimately aren't. When you go through trauma, you gain a sharper focus on what is essential: your relationships, your health, your purpose. It reminds you of the value of time and teaches you not to take life for granted. Another treasure often uncovered in trauma is creativity. Pain has a way of stirring the soul, of awakening a need to express what words cannot capture. Many of the world's greatest works of art, literature, and music were born from the depths of personal pain. Trauma can unlock a wellspring of creativity, allowing you to channel your emotions into something beautiful and meaningful. Trauma also offers a treasure of perspective. It changes the way you see the world and your place in it. It teaches you to appreciate the small victories, to find joy in the everyday moments, and to recognize the beauty of life even amidst the pain. Perspective helps you to see beyond the immediate hurt and envision a future filled with possibilities. Perhaps one of the most profound treasures in trauma is purpose. For many, the greatest sense of meaning in life comes from transforming their pain into a source of healing or inspiration for others. The very experiences that try to break you can become the foundation for your mission. Trauma gives you a unique story, one that has the power to resonate with and uplift others. Discovering the treasure in trauma is not about denying the pain or pretending it didn't happen. It's about recognizing that even in the darkest moments, there is something to be gained. It's about choosing to grow through the pain rather than being consumed by it. This doesn't mean the trauma itself was good. It means that you have the ability to bring something good out of it. To discover the treasure, you must be willing to do the work. Healing is not passive. It requires intentionality, self-reflection, and often the support of others. It requires you to face the pain rather than avoid it, to process your emotions, and to ask yourself the difficult questions. This journey is not easy, but it is worth it. As you work through your trauma, you may find that the treasure isn't just one thing but many. It could be the discovery of your inner strength, the deepening of your relationships, the clarity of your values, or the awakening of your purpose. Whatever the treasure may be, it is uniquely yours, and it has the power to transform your life. There is a universal truth that transcends culture, time, and circumstance. A life lived solely for oneself is a life that often feels empty and unfulfilled. In our pursuit of success, happiness, and meaning, we often focus inward, seeking what we can gain, achieve, or build for ourselves. Yet, time and time again, people who have amassed wealth, fame, or power confess that these things, while momentarily satisfying, do not bring lasting purpose. True purpose is not found in what we receive, but in what we give. It is in serving others that we discover the essence of our existence. From the moment we are born, we are wired for connection. The human experience is deeply relational, and the fulfillment we seek is often tied to how we impact the lives of those around us. Purpose is not an isolated pursuit. It is intricately linked to the contributions we make to the well-being of others. When we step outside of ourselves and focus on the needs, dreams, and struggles of others, we tap into a deeper sense of meaning. Serving others does not require extraordinary resources or circumstances. It begins with a mindset, a willingness to see beyond our own concerns and recognize the opportunities to make a difference in the lives of those around us. Sometimes this service comes in grand acts, like starting a charity or dedicating your life to a cause. But more often, it is found in the small, everyday acts of kindness, listening to someone who needs to be heard, offering a helping hand, or simply being present for someone in their time of need. When you serve others, you unlock a part of yourself that cannot be accessed any other way. There is a joy that comes from seeing the impact of your actions on someone else's life. It might be a smile, a word of gratitude, or the knowledge that you've lightened someone's burden. These moments remind us that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. That serving others also brings clarity to our own struggles. It is often in the act of helping someone else that we gain perspective on our own challenges. When we step into someone else's shoes, we realize that our pain is not unique and that we are not alone. This shared humanity has the power to heal, not only those we serve, but also ourselves. Through service, we also discover our gifts and talents. Each of us has something unique to offer: skills, experiences, and passions that are meant to be used for the benefit of others. When we serve, we put these gifts into action, often in ways that surprise even ourselves. We realize that what we thought was ordinary has extraordinary value when used to uplift someone else. Serving others also teaches us humility. It reminds us that we are not the center of the universe and that our worth is not measured by our accomplishments, but by the impact we have on others. In serving, we learn to value people over possessions, relationships over recognition, and purpose over personal gain. Another powerful aspect of serving others is the legacy it creates. The work we do for ourselves often fades with time, but the work we do for others leaves a lasting impact. When you serve, you plant seeds that grow long after you are gone. You influence lives, shape futures, and contribute to a better world. This legacy of service is one of the most enduring and meaningful gifts you can give. Purpose is found in serving others because service aligns us with the greater good. It shifts our focus from what we lack to what we can give. It transforms our pain into compassion, our resources into opportunities, and our lives into a source of hope for others. Through service, we transcend the limitations of our individual selves and become part of something far greater. When you serve others, you step into a divine rhythm of flow of giving and receiving that enriches everyone involved. You may start with the intention of helping someone else, but in the process you will find that you are the one who is blessed. Service brings fulfillment that no achievement or possession can match. It grounds you in a sense of purpose that is unshakable, even in the face of challenges. Purpose is not something you find by looking inward and asking, what can I achieve? It is something you discover when you look outward and ask, what can I give? It is in meeting the needs of others, in lifting someone else up, that you find your highest calling. When you serve, you unlock the deepest parts of yourself, the parts that were created not to live for self, but to live for others. This is why some of the greatest stories of purpose are stories of service. The teacher who dedicates their life to shaping young minds. The caregiver who sacrifices their own comfort to ensure the well-being of a loved one. The activist who fights tirelessly for justice. The mentor who invests time and wisdom into the next generation. Each of these acts of service is a reflection of true purpose. Purpose is not elusive, it is right in front of us. It is in the opportunities to serve that present themselves every day in our families, our communities, and our world. The question is not whether we are capable of serving, but whether we are willing. Will we choose to step out of our comfort zones, to set aside our own agendas, and to give of ourselves for the sake of others? When we do, we will find that the fulfillment we've been searching for was waiting for us all along in the simple but profound act of serving others. Life has a way of bringing pain, betrayal, and disappointment. These moments cut deep, leaving wounds that often seem impossible to heal. In the aftermath of such experiences, the human heart naturally craves justice. The desire for revenge becomes a tempting voice, whispering that vindication lies in making others feel the hurt they caused us. It tells us that retaliation will restore our dignity, bring closure, and set the scales right. But revenge is a deceiver. It promises relief but delivers emptiness. True healing and restoration are found not in revenge but in growth. Revenge is reactive. It keeps us tethered to the pain of the past, fixated on the actions of those who wronged us. It blinds us to the possibilities of tomorrow because it demands all of our energy and attention in the here and now. When we focus on revenge, we allow our adversaries to define our choices and dictate the direction of our lives. They remain the focal point even long after the initial hurt has passed. Growth, on the other hand, is proactive. It shifts the focus from what happened to you to what is happening within you. Growth says, yes, this pain was real, but it will not determine my future growth. Is about learning, healing, and becoming better, not in spite of the pain, but because of it. It is about taking the lessons from the trials and using them as stepping stones to something greater. Choosing growth over revenge requires strength. It is far easier to let anger consume you, to dwell on the ways you've been wronged, and to plot your response. Growth demands that you rise above those instincts, that you refuse to let bitterness take root in your heart. It challenges you to channel your energy into something productive, something meaningful, something transformative. When you focus on growth, you reclaim your power. Revenge gives power to the one who hurt you, as it keeps your emotions tied to their actions. Growth, however, puts the power back in your hands. It allows you to decide how you will respond, what you will learn, and who you will become. Growth says, I will not be defined by what happened to me, but by how I rise from it. Growth is not about denying the pain or pretending the hurt didn't happen. It's about acknowledging it, processing it, and then using it as a catalyst for transformation. Pain, as unwelcome as it is, often carries the seeds of wisdom and strength. When you allow yourself to grow through your pain, you begin to see that even the hardest experiences can have meaning. Focusing on growth also liberates you from the cycle of negativity that revenge perpetuates. Revenge feeds anger, resentment, and hatred. It perpetuates the very pain it seeks to alleviate, creating a never-ending cycle of hurt. Growth, on the other hand, breaks that cycle. It replaces bitterness with understanding, hatred with peace, and vengeance with purpose. Growth demands introspection. It requires you to ask yourself hard questions. What can I learn from this experience? How can I use this pain to become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate? What steps can I take to ensure that this pain doesn't define me but refines me? These questions may not have easy answers, but they are the ones that lead to transformation. Focusing on growth also changes your perspective on those who hurt you. While revenge magnifies their faults and fuels your anger, growth often brings a sense of understanding, even if not forgiveness. It helps you see that their actions, while hurtful, do not have to hold power over you. Their choices do not dictate your worth or your future. Growth allows you to move forward, unburdened by the weight of their wrongdoing. Another profound aspect of focusing on growth is that it often inspires others. When you choose growth over revenge, you become an example of resilience, strength, and grace. Your story becomes a source of hope for others who are struggling with their own pain. By choosing to rise above the hurt, you show others that it is possible to heal, to learn, and to thrive even in the face of adversity. Growth is not a linear process. There will be days when the pain feels fresh, when anger resurfaces, and when the desire for revenge whispers in your ear. But each time you choose growth, you take another step forward. You build a life that is not defined by the actions of others, but by your own choices and character. The energy spent on revenge is wasted energy. It does nothing to undo the wrongs or heal the wounds. Growth, however, is an investment. It builds a foundation for a future filled with strength, purpose, and peace. When you focus on growth, you are planting seeds that will bear fruit for years to come. You are creating a legacy of resilience and transformation. Pain, no matter how deep, is not the end of your story. It is a chapter, a moment, a stepping stone. And while revenge seeks to trap you in that chapter, growth encourages you to turn the page. Growth challenges you to see the possibilities beyond the pain, to imagine a life that is richer and fuller because of the lessons learned in the hardest moments. Focusing on growth does not mean forgetting the wrongs or minimizing the hurt. It means choosing to rise above them. It means refusing to let the actions of others control your emotions, your choices, or your destiny. Growth is the ultimate act of defiance against pain. It is the decision to thrive, to move forward, and to become more than what tried to break you. The saying, "Time heals all wounds," is one of the most repeated pieces of advice offered to those experiencing pain. While time does play a role in the healing process, it is not the cure. Time alone doesn't heal wounds, intentional effort does. The passage of time may dull the edges of pain, but it does not guarantee growth, transformation, or true healing. Time can just as easily become a place of stagnation, where wounds fester instead of mend. Healing requires more than waiting. It requires deliberate action, reflection, and choice. Pain, whether emotional, mental, or physical, leaves a mark. It disrupts the flow of life, casting shadows over our days and embedding itself in our thoughts. Left unaddressed, this pain doesn't fade, it settles deeper into our being. We may distract ourselves with the busyness of life, burying the pain under layers of activity, but time alone does not bring resolution. It is the effort we make to confront, process, and work through our pain that leads to healing. Healing is an active process. It begins with acknowledgement, recognizing that the wound exists and that it needs attention. Ignoring the pain or pretending it isn't there doesn't make it go away. It merely pushes it into the background, where it quietly influences our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. True healing starts when we stop running from our pain and face it head on. Intentional effort in healing involves self-awareness. It requires us to take an honest look at our emotions, our fears, and the beliefs we formed as a result of the pain. Have we built walls to protect ourselves from being hurt again? Have we developed unhealthy coping mechanisms to numb the feelings? Are we holding on to resentment or bitterness? These questions can be uncomfortable, but they are necessary for growth. Without self-awareness, we cannot address the root of our wounds. Effort also means seeking out tools and resources to aid in the healing process. This might involve therapy, counseling, or support groups where you can process your emotions in a safe space. It might mean reading books, journaling, or practicing mindfulness to better understand your inner world. It might even mean reaching out to friends, family, or mentors for support. Healing is not a solitary journey. It often requires the input and guidance of others who can help us see what we cannot see on our own. Time without effort often leads to avoidance. We tell ourselves that if we just wait long enough, the pain will disappear. But unprocessed pain has a way of manifesting in other areas of our lives. It can show up as anxiety, depression, anger, or an inability to trust others. It can affect our relationships, our work, and our sense of self-worth. Time doesn't heal these wounds, it merely delays the moment when we are forced to confront them. Healing also requires forgiveness, not just of others, but often of ourselves. When we hold on to guilt, shame, or anger, we create barriers to our own growth. Forgiveness is an intentional act, one that requires effort and courage. It is not about excusing the hurt or forgetting what happened. It is about releasing the hold that the pain has over us. It is about choosing to move forward, even when the past still calls us back. Effort in healing means taking responsibility for our own well-being. While we may not be responsible for the pain inflicted upon us, we are responsible for how we respond to it. Blaming others or waiting for external circumstances to change keeps us stuck. Healing begins when we decide to take control of our journey, to actively seek the tools and practices that will help us grow. Intentional healing is also about patience. Just as a physical wound takes time to close, emotional wounds require time and consistent care. But patience does not mean passivity. It means committing to the process even when progress feels slow. It means showing up for yourself every day, making choices that prioritize your mental and emotional health. Effort in healing involves redefining the narratives we tell ourselves about pain. Often we see pain as a sign of weakness, failure, or something to be ashamed of. But pain is a natural part of life, and it carries lessons that can shape us in profound ways. When we view pain as a teacher rather than an enemy, we open ourselves to the growth it can bring. Time becomes meaningful in healing only when paired with intention. It is what we do with the time that matters. Every moment offers a choice to dwell in the pain or to take a step toward healing. Some days, the steps may be small, practicing gratitude, taking a walk, or allowing yourself to feel the emotions you've been avoiding. Other days, the steps may be bigger, having a hard conversation, setting a boundary, or seeking professional help. Each step, no matter how small, moves you closer to wholeness. Intentional healing also requires hope. It requires believing that healing is possible, even when the pain feels overwhelming. Hope is what sustains us in the moments when progress feels invisible, when the effort seems too great. It reminds us that the pain is temporary, that the effort is worth it, and that a better, healthier version of ourselves is on the other side. The effort to heal is not easy, but it is transformative. It changes the way we see ourselves and the world. It teaches us resilience, self-compassion, and the strength we never knew we had. It allows us to turn our wounds into wisdom and our pain into purpose. While time alone cannot heal, intentional effort can transform even the deepest wounds into opportunities for growth and renewal. Life often feels like a journey of shaping, molding, and refining. At times the process is gentle, a smoothing of rough edges. At other times it is painful, as if we are being broken apart and reshaped entirely. Yet, throughout these moments, there exists an unseen hand of potter, a master craftsman who is at work in ways we cannot fully comprehend. Trusting the potter's hands means surrendering to the process, believing that even in the midst of discomfort, confusion, or hardship, there is a purpose to the shaping, and it is for our ultimate good. The imagery of a potter and clay is profound. Clay in its natural state is shapeless and unremarkable. It is pliable but lacks form and purpose. Only when placed in the hands of a skilled potter does it begin to take on a shape that serves a purpose. The potter envisions what the clay can become long before the clay itself takes on that form. This is the essence of trust. The clay does not know the end result, but the potter does. Life places us on the potter's wheel. We experience spinning seasons where it feels as if we're being turned around without direction, our lives seemingly out of control. But the potter's hands are steady. They guide, press, and shape with precision. The pressure we feel is not random, it is intentional, designed to bring out our potential and refine us into vessels of strength and beauty. The process of molding clay is not without discomfort. To shape the clay, the potter must first knead it, removing air bubbles and impurities that could cause it to crack during the firing process. This kneading can feel like life pressing on us in ways we don't understand. Challenges, setbacks, and trials come, and we question why we must endure them. Yet, these moments are part of the preparation, ensuring that when the heat of life comes, we are strong enough to withstand it without breaking. Once the clay has been shaped, it is placed in the fire. The heat solidifies its form, transforming it from something fragile into something resilient. Fire is often symbolic of trials and tests, the moments when life feels most intense. It is in these moments that we are refined, our character strengthened, our purpose solidified. The potter does not place the clay in the fire to destroy it, but to perfect it. Trusting the potter's hands means believing that even the heat of life has a purpose. Trusting the potter's hands also means embracing the imperfections. In the hands of a skilled potter, even cracks and flaws in the clay can become part of its beauty. The imperfections do not disqualify the clay, they enhance its uniqueness. In the same way, our scars, mistakes, and struggles are not wasted. The potter incorporates them into the design, using them to create a masterpiece that tells a story of resilience, grace, and transformation. One of the greatest challenges in trusting the potter's hands is surrendering control. As humans, we often resist the process, trying to shape ourselves according to our own understanding. We want to determine the outcome, to dictate the path, to avoid the pain of the pressing and the heat of the fire. Yet, in doing so, we limit ourselves. The potter sees the bigger picture, the purpose that we cannot yet imagine. Trusting the potter's hands means relinquishing the need to control and allowing ourselves to be shaped according to a higher vision. Trust does not mean the absence of questions. It is natural to wonder why the process must be so difficult, why the shaping often feels like breaking. Trust is not about understanding every step, it is about believing in the skill and intention of the potter. It is about holding on to the assurance that the process, no matter how painful or confusing, is leading to something greater. The potter's hands are gentle yet firm. They know when to press and when to ease. They understand the unique qualities of each piece of clay and shape it accordingly. No two vessels are exactly the same, and the process for each is different. Trusting the potter's hands means recognizing that your journey is uniquely yours. Comparisons to others are futile because the potter's design for you is tailored to your purpose. There is also a lesson in patience when trusting the potter's hands. The shaping of clay is not a rushed process. Each step takes time: the kneading, the shaping, the drying, the firing, the glazing. Skipping any step compromises the integrity of the vessel. In the same way, the shaping of our lives requires time. Trusting the potter's hands means being patient with the process, even when progress feels slow or invisible. The potter's hands are never absent, even in the moments when we feel most alone. The clay does not always feel the potter's touch directly, but the process is always under the potter's watchful eye. Trusting the potter's hands means believing in the presence and purpose of the potter, even when we cannot see or feel it. There is beauty in surrender, in allowing ourselves to be shaped and molded. The potter does not see the clay as it is, but as it will become. Trusting the potter's hands means aligning ourselves with that vision, embracing the process with faith, courage, and an open heart. Every press, every spin, every moment in the fire is part of the journey toward becoming the masterpiece we were designed to be.